love featuring independent artists on the show. And today, we're heading to Tennessee to chat with singer-songwriter Dusty Leigh Huston. Dusty is an Idaho native. She's named after her mother's favorite band, ZZ Top's bassist Dusty Hill. She's now relocated to Chattanooga, Tennessee to follow her dreams. And her latest single, The Hell I Won't, is her anthem. We're excited to have Dusty Leigh on the show. First, Dusty, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me. I sure appreciate it.
Wow, busy summer. Looks like you had a blast. Was this the busiest summer we've had so far?
Pretty close. It's comparable to a couple of them that I had in Idaho for sure. Yeah, back-to-back shows. It's been great.
Yeah, it looks like you had a good time. I love your story, Dusty. I mean, because I've been here like 9 months. I'm old. I had my old career. I had a different life. Now, I mean, I was always in media, but now I've jumped, full in doing the morning show now. But that's what you did. I mean, you had the family life. You lived in Idaho. Yep. You said, okay, it's time to follow my dreams. You moved to Tennessee. I don't know if your husband's the nicest guy on the planet or what, but he even got you a band to get this thing rolling. Tell us a little bit about your story.
He did. Yeah, so I married my high school sweetheart, and then he joined the military, and we had kids, and, we moved across the country. So I sang, for events and things like that, but never really on a professional level until 2011, where he put a band together. I had horrible stage fright. And so I was more of a closet singer for a long time. And then, we kind of didn't expect it to blow up like it did. I mean, we were touring everywhere from, Washington, D.C. down to Raleigh, North Carolina. We were all stationed in North Carolina at the time. It was amazing, but then, after a few years, everybody kind of retired and got out, and we moved back to Idaho. About 6 months in, I really had that itch to put another band together. I wasn't quite done yet. So, we actually convinced our original, bass player and drummer to move to Idaho with us. We found another guitar player, and we kind of just picked things back up where we left off. And man, we were busy. We gigged. And, of course, we all had regular day jobs, because nobody becomes a musician to get rich.
No.
So, we were really busy. And then my father passed away in 2016, which was kind of the reason we moved back to Idaho. And I knew I didn't really want to stay in Idaho long term. So once both of our kids graduated, we had kind of made the decision that, I signed with EMG in 2019. Flying back and forth across the country, to make a record was a little difficult. So, after your kids move out and move away and you're empty nesters, you're like, whoa, look at all this time we have for activities. So we kind of, we're gypsies at heart from being military. So we packed up everything we owned and relocated to Chattanooga and put a band together. And here we are.
Yeah, well, and the cherry on top, or the beginning of the Sunday, you win the 2022 International Singer-Songwriters Female Vocalist of the Year. That had to be awesome.
It did. It best day of my life. Honestly, it didn't click. It was one of those surreal moments where they called my name. I didn't even hear them call my name. My band guys were with me, and they screamed so loud. And I was like, startled. And my husband's looking at me like, why are you sitting here? You won. Get up. So it was, and then of course, you make it on stage, and I'm trying not to throw up and sound like a babbling buffoon. But it was amazing. It was wonderful.
Yeah, well, and ISSA, which is cool because being an independent artist, there's a lot of connections that you make. Sure. Dave Nudo, did you guys hook up because of the Idaho connection?
We actually, we played a show together one time. There was a benefit. There's a big venue in Idaho called the Knitting Factory. And there was a bunch of different bands that got together. And that's actually where I met Dave. One of the coolest guys ever. Absolutely loved him. And then he and I collaborated together on a song for my dad called 99 Halos after my dad passed away. And we just, from the start, he's one of those people, he knows no enemy. He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And we just became good friends from day one, my husband and I and Dave. And he was actually just here not too long ago in July. He came out. We have a new duet coming out this winter. And he came and played a show with me here in Chattanooga. And it was awesome. Yeah, we love Dave.
Yeah, we had Dave on the show couple months back.
He's great.
But yeah, great guy. Well, your husband Wade, what does he do? Does he work for this eminent
Everything.
music? Yeah. Yeah, and he plays with you sometimes. He does everything.
He does. When we first started out, he played guitar and he plays harmonica and he sings. He sings just like Johnny Cash. So when we're doing, when we were doing our 3-hour sets and I needed a break, he would do all of our older country, Waylon and Johnny and all those. And then he is the steam that keeps this train rolling down the road. He does everything from booking and managing and media, and I mean, he does it all. So whenever we moved here, he's like, I'm going to take a step back. I don't really want to be on stage full time. Which of course I was like, yeah, I don't care what you say. I don't like that. He was my security blanket. So, but yeah, he kind of took a step back. He still comes up on stage, and does at the end we have, he comes up and does a few songs because he's just awesome. And I love watching the crowd when he gets on stage. It's phenomenal. So he still does a few, but he's mostly doing, the full-time managing and stuff. So he is a busy man.
Yeah, I saw a video. If you go check her out, I think it was on your Facebook page, where it was at the end of the concert, and he did walk up on stage, like out of the crowd.
Yep.
And I think he played a Creedence song or something. Or he had a whole medley there.
Yeah,
at the
we did
end.
Proud Mary. Yep.
Yeah,
he does some good stuff. I love it. Watching the crowd go wild is the best thing. It cracks me up. It's great.
Yeah, go check her out. Dusty Leigh Huston. It's HUSTON .net is her website. She's on Facebook, Instagram. She's on TikTok. Her latest single, The Hell I Won't, is out now. But, I mean, the band that you've put together, where'd you find all these guys? Are they all from Tennessee? Are these still a couple of guys you knew? Because, I mean, you've got an amazing band.
I do. My band guys are phenomenal. And actually, they are all from the Chattanooga, Saudi Daisy area. Except for my acoustic player, his name's Drew. He's actually from Chilhowie, by Bristol. And he had a band. He's a younger guy, and he's played for a long time. And most of my guys, especially my drummer Richie, he's played professionally for years and years and years. And they were kind of, I say, semi-retired. They had played, for a long time and had kind of just stopped playing, and then we found our guitar player, Greg, our lead guitar player, and of course he introduced us to our bass player, Jimmy. And then we'd actually been talking to our drummer for a while before we'd actually moved here. My husband was kind of making connections before we made the actual move. And it all kind of just fell together. Our keys player, Glenda, she's phenomenal. I have never had a keys player before, so that was one of the decisions when we moved here. I love doing a lot of Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac, and so I was really dead set on having a keys player this time, and it's just been the depths that we have reached with the players that we have has blown my mind. I am so grateful for all of them. They're phenomenal players.
Yeah, because I mean, your live show, you're playing stuff all over the place.
We are. It's very eclectic. I get that a lot. People are like, you really need to pick, for branding purposes and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I've never, first of all, don't boss me. And second of all, I've never been that type of person where I'm going to put myself in a box. For me, music is what makes you feel good. It's what lifts you up. It's what keeps you going. Nothing like music can write a story like anything else. And I feel like, for me, it was very much, I'm going to do what I want to do, because that's just who I am. But when I go to a show, I want people to get a full experience. I want them to see the highs and the lows and hear those songs, even if it's not original music, but those classics that I fell in love with as a kid. I grew up in a house full of eclectic music. Both my parents listened to everything on the spectrum. And I'm really grateful for that, because it's given me a good perspective of, at least a crowd perspective, I like to call it. You'll never leave my show bored, that's for sure, because you never know what's going to fly out of my mouth. So.
Yeah, well, I like it. I like it too, that you get surprised. You're going to hear something that you probably never thought you were going to hear when you go see us.
I don't like doing the mainstream stuff all the time. I feel like that's what everybody does, and I've always tried to find those diamond in the rough. Of course, I do a lot of Fleetwood Mac and stuff, and those are pretty standard classics, but I like to dig deep and find other gems that most people are like, oh man, it's been a while since I've heard that, or oh, I really like that one. So I like to keep you on your toes.
Yeah. I saw where you said one of your goals is to play Red Rocks. Have you been to Red Rocks?
I have. I've driven to it. I've never got to play it, and yeah, that's one day. Fingers crossed. I don't even care if I have to if it's just the warm up. I'll be the warm up crew. I would love to hear the acoustics. It's just there's something magical about Red Rocks that it's like playing the Ryman. It's like playing the Opry. There's just these venues that are magical that have history, and I just think it's dream come true. If I could open the show for Ashley McBryde and then sit in the crowd and watch her play Red Rocks, I could die the next day and go to heaven. It would be phenomenal. That's my ultimate goal.
There you go. Dreams and goals.
Yes.
That's what we have. You have a tattoo on your arm. Keep smiling and stay happy. Tell us about it.
That was my dad's signature. I love you. Whenever we'd talk on the phone or we'd be, together, he'd just say, keep smiling, stay happy. That's what he has said since we were kids. So when he passed away, a couple days after he passed away, my sister and I, we went and got his handwriting tattooed on our arm. It was one of the things that just makes me feel close to him all the time. 1 year for our anniversary, my husband I really wanted an M80 microphone, which is what ZZ Top uses. And my husband found me one. He bought it. He had some guy inscribe, keep smiling, stay happy. And he gave it to me and said, this way your dad's always on stage with you. You don't have to have stage fright anymore, which that didn't really help. Whiskey helps a little bit more than that, but it's one of those things. It's something my dad constantly said to everybody that he was another Dave Nudo. He never had an enemy. That was his signature, keep smiling and stay happy. So.
Yeah, it's a great motto. I mean, you were named after Dusty Hill for ZZ Top. How sad was it when Dusty passed away?
I don't get starstruck very often. I will say I was in Texas the day that he died, and I sobbed like a baby. I don't know why. I can't really explain it, but it was just, I don't know, maybe because I've seen them live a few times. It was my mom's favorite band. I grew up on them. I know all their songs. I have all their albums. Just their history in general, for a band to stay together that long is, mind-blowing. But it was just this end of an era for me that it really did break my heart. I was crushed. And so, yeah, I shed a few tears for that one.
Yeah. Well, now people can name their kids Dusty after you, Dusty Leigh.
You know what? That would be amazing.
There you go.
It was one of those names growing up that I never, I was like, God, why my parents name me Dusty? Geez, what a dumb name. And now I love it. And except for I usually get can I please speak to Mr. Dusty Huston? I'm like, never heard of the dude. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Wrong number.
Yeah, exactly. Try again.
Go and check her
now
out.
I love it.
Yeah, Dusty Leigh Huston. It's HUSTON.net. Go to her website. She's on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Go and follow her. You're going to hear her latest single, The Hell I Won't, coming up here pretty soon. You mentioned Dave Nudo. You've been playing, and you mentioned Whiskey. The Whiskey Cowgirl. Is this in Chattanooga? Where's this at?
Yeah, it's in Chattanooga. It's a new venue that opened about a year ago. Actually, Saturday we're playing a show there to celebrate their 1 year birthday bash celebration.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks pretty nice, or it looks pretty cool.
It's awesome. It's one of my favorite venues that we've played around here. It's fantastic.
Yeah, well, and it says, I don't know if it's on your bio or somewhere, but it says your new album is coming out at the end of summer. What's the update?
Yes. It's probably going to be this winter. The thing about touring is you got to make time to do all of the things. And so far, touring took away all of the time that I had set aside for studio work to finish up the album.
Oh, yeah.
So, and also it's hard to, I keep thinking, okay, this song's going to be the end of it. And then I write another one or I find another one and I'm like, oh, actually I want to include this one. And so my husband said the other day, he's like, listen, you got to have a cutoff because you cannot have 59 songs on an album.
Yeah. There's only so much we can put on it.
Exactly. So I got to make some cuts and I'm going into the studio here soon to finish up some stuff. And so it should be out. I hope by the end of the year, but it's one of those things where I was rushing to put my first album together. And I really wanted to take some time to write some good songs, to collab with some good songwriters for my next album. So I really poured my heart and soul into this album. So if it comes out later, I'm okay with that because I want to know that it came at a time when it was complete, when I feel like it was complete, I wasn't missing anything, and I wasn't rushing it. So I've really taken my time with this album.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing to have too much material than sitting there trying to crank out one or two more songs, because that's never fun. Well, I mean, how hard was it? Because The Hell I Won't, you said it, this is your anthem. You went and wrote it to be your anthem. Mm-hmm. Was it hard to do another song afterwards, or did it just keep flowing?
You know, I had a ton of song ideas. One thing about songwriting is the ideas come natural for me, but I'm not really good with the structure of things. So when we got to Tennessee, I got hooked up with Craig Wilson and Mary Cutter, who are the ones that helped me write The Hell I Won't, and two other ones. Craig Wilson actually passed away this past summer, unfortunately. Another moment where I shed some tears. Just a phenomenal, phenomenal guy. And I basically poured my heart out to them. I was like, listen, this is my story. It's pretty black and white. It's not conventional. It's not a fairy tale. I didn't have parents with a lot of money that drove me to Nashville and, looking for that dream. But I've kind of always done things my way. This is kind of where I'm at. This is the heartache that I've lived through. I lost my mom to suicide at 15. I just lost my dad in 2016. I've had a lot of tragedy in my life. And I've never let that derail me or hold me back, even though I've always done it my way. People say that's going to screw you in the end because that's not how the industry works. But I've never been really good at listening. So, and Craig cranked out this melody, and these words just came together, and it was like fire. When I left the studio that day, I was so excited I could not contain myself. I was like, this is it. This is literally my anthem. Like, this song finally came together after like 5 years of words on paper and, ideas. And I was thrilled. So when it finally came out on the radio, I think the first couple of times I played it, my guitar player, Drew, we actually debuted it at Whiskey Cowgirls here in Chattanooga. And the crowd response, I immediately started crying. And he's like, there's no crying in rock and roll. So, and it's cool now that I've played it there a few times, the crowd sings it back to me, which is like, that's what I'm here for. That was amazing to me. So yeah, it'll be one that'll live in infamy for me, at least.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And yeah, I just love it. And when anybody says anything, the hell I won't.
Yeah, exactly. And anybody that knows me in person is like, that's accurate.
Yeah. So keep your eyes on her new album, hopefully this winter. You said you're playing this weekend at the Whiskey Cowgirl, and then I think, is that it for a while?
No, we actually have another couple of shows in October and November, and then one in December. Okay. And then we'll wrap up. Yep.
Yeah, so more to come. If you're down in Tennessee, Chattanooga, go and check her out. Dusty Leigh Huston, DustyLeighHuston.net. Go and follow her. Much more to come. Well, Dusty Leigh, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you. I've had a blast. I hope you guys have a great day.
Here it is. The hell I won't. It's Dusty Leigh. It's KIX 96.5.